In 1986, Henry Toivenen's Lancia plunged off a Corsican cliff and exploded. In an instant, the wildest, most dangerous era in motorsport history was dead. Welcome to VRD History, where we dive into the research and development that defined the icons of motorsport. Group B was banned, outlawed, and just like that, Peugeot Talbot Sport, the absolute kings of the rally world, were left holding the keys to a multi-million-dollar 500 horsepower masterpiece with absolutely nowhere to race. Their brilliant, calculated team principal, Jean Todt, had two choices: scrap the cars and admit defeat, or take the most fragile, high-tech asphalt monster ever built and throw it into the most brutal endurance race on Earth. To understand how insane this choice was, you have to understand the Paris-Dakar Rally in 1987. It wasn't a race. It was a 13,000 kilometer gauntlet of shifting sand dunes, blinding dust, and vehicle-destroying rocks. The Peugeot 205 T16 was a precision scalpel. It was built for short, violent sprints. It required a team of mechanics refreshing the engine every few hours. The Dakar, however, required a sledgehammer. But Jean Todt wasn't a normal manager. He was a master tactician, the man who would later build the Michael Schumacher Ferrari dynasty. He saw an opportunity. He ordered his engineers to stretch the wheelbase of the 205 T16 by 30 centimeters to fit a massive 400-liter fuel tank. They detuned the volatile engine for reliability, raised the suspension, and called it the 205 T16 Grand Raid. They had the car, they had the drivers, including the legendary Flying Finn, Ari Vatanen, making a miraculous comeback from a near-fatal crash. But the desert doesn't care about pedigree, and the 1987 Paris-Dakar was about to teach Peugeot a lesson in humility. Right out of the gate, disaster struck. Ari Vatanen's car refused to start on day one. He dropped to 274th place. It looked like an embarrassing multi-million-dollar failure for Todt on the world stage. But Vatanen drove like a man possessed. Utilizing Group B speeds in a desert landscape, he carved through the field. Against all odds, by the final week, Peugeot didn't just catch up, they were dominating. Vatanen won the 87 Dakar, proving Todt's gamble was a stroke of genius. If 1987 was a dream, 1988 was a psychological thriller. Jean Todt brought an updated weapon, the stunning Peugeot 405 T16 Grand Raid. Vatanen was leading comfortably. It looked like a walk in the park. Until the morning of stage 14 in Bamako, Vatanen walked out to the bivouac and his car was gone, stolen, in the middle of Africa. A ransom note was delivered demanding millions. Todt was beside himself. By the time the car was miraculously found abandoned in a ditch hours later, it was too late. Vatanen was disqualified for missing his start time. The leadership fell to teammate Juha Kankkunen, but this triggered an internal war. The drivers were no longer racing the desert. They were racing each other, pushing the fragile Group B machinery past its absolute limits. Todt realized that if he didn't intervene, his cars would destroy themselves before reaching the finish line. This brings us to one of the most controversial moments in motorsport history, 1989. Peugeot is dominating again, but Vatanen and his teammate Jackie X are driving like maniacs, trading the lead centimeters from disaster. Jean Todt knew a crash would destroy Peugeot's reputation, so at a desert checkpoint, he called both drivers into a tent. He didn't use team orders based on merit. He pulled out a 10 franc coin. Heads is Ari, tails is Jackie. Whoever wins stays in front, no more overtaking. The coin landed on heads. Vatanen was designated the winner. X, a racing purist and Le Mans legend, was furious. He felt it violated the spirit of the sport. But Todt didn't care about sportsmanship. He cared about winning. X respected the order, trailing Vatanen by seconds all the way to the beach in Dakar. Jean Todt's cold, calculated corporate strategy had triumphed over the wild romance of the desert. From 1987 to 1990, Peugeot Talbot Sport completely colonized the Paris-Dakar, winning 4 consecutive titles. Jean Todt took the tragic demise of Group B and turned it into a marketing masterclass that redefined Peugeot's brand globally. It was this exact, ruthless, analytical mindset that caught the eye of Scuderia Ferrari. The same man who flipped a coin in the Sahara would go on to rebuild Formula One's greatest dynasty. The Group B monsters were too fast for Europe, but under Jean Todt, they found their true home, conquering the endless sands of Africa. Jean Todt's calculated genius saved Peugeot, but even he couldn't predict a literal desert car heist. To find out exactly how Ari Vatanen's car was stolen and held for ransom, click the Paris-Dakar playlist on your screen right now.